You know, I had this commentary sitting on my desktop all day, and I kind of just, I kind of got sucked back into the world of Final Fantasy VII. But I was watching a documentary on Netflix just recently, and it was called The Dust Bowl. It was a Ken Burns documentary. And Ken Burns is wonderful documentaries. He is a master of his craft. He is one of the best out there. If you haven't seen any of his stuff, check it out. Highly recommend it. But as watching this, it made me think about capitalism. Capitalism is the system that we use in the United States. The idea of capitalism is run in almost every aspect here, except from like police departments and fire departments. Like if you work hard, you will get ahead. Which that's the idea behind capitalism, but that's not what all it takes. And I just want to speak on it just for a minute. Let me go ahead and put the disclaimer out there. I'm not the most political guy in the world. I don't know every detail I can, and I'm only going to be basing information that I myself know, and it might not all be accurate. So if don't take this as the end all be all, and I wouldn't go repeating anything I say, but feel free to chime in with your opinions. Watching this documentary, and it's about the Dust Bowl. If you're unfamiliar with the Dust Bowl, what the Dust Bowl is a period in the United States history where we basically overcropped the land. I forgot what it's called, but Easter Island kind of did the same thing. We brought it up with Easter Island, basically where people didn't see what they were doing. And for our information, it was because of capitalism. For like Easter Island, it was to build little moais. I think they're called moais. M-A-U-I. Moais. Those little heads. What they ended up doing on Easter Island was they took all the trees off the island to move these moais up onto the beach and like line them up and stuff, to the point where they caused land to just collapse on itself. What ended up happening in the Dust Bowl was this thing called buffalo grass. They disted all this buffalo grass up, which the buffalo grass was what kept the sand down. It held water, it held moisture deep and under the sand, almost a foot under the sand, and would keep the dust and the sandstorms at bay. And this is how nature itself grew to protect against sandstorms, which nobody at the time knew this. This was in the 20s. So basically what ended up happening is wheat took off. Wheat took off and the Great Depression took off. So the only way that these farmers could keep up with money, like on a good year like 1929, they were getting paid a lot of money of a bushel. So what they did was they made more crops. And then like when a bad year like 1931 rolled around, they were only getting paid half a bushel what they were getting paid in 1929. So their answer was to do twice as much crops. So the answer in both scenarios was always do more, always do more. There's no limiters, there's nothing like that was put in place. And I think that's where capitalism fails. Capitalism only works in a up economy, in a up system. Like like right now, let's go and make it a little bit more relevant. 2013, oil is about to, well, I can't speculate it, but let's just say oil is peaking. You're paying, some countries are paying $11 a liter, where here in America we're paying something like $3 a gallon, and we're not out of the ballpark of in like 2 to 5 years that we might be paying about $20 a gallon just if it would peak. If it would peak, oil prices would just skyrocket. And what a normal person would do is they would cut back their driving and try to make more money. And that's where capitalism just doesn't work. Let me go with another scenario. Let's use my town, for example. 11 years ago, we got a super Walmart. We had a regular Walmart for the longest time. We had a regular Walmart since the 80s. But the regular Walmart was just, it was like a side store. It was almost like a Jones's or a Big Lots or something like that. It had stuff. It had pretty good prices. But it wasn't a juggernaut that it is today. But, so they didn't tear it down, but they emptied the building out where regular Walmart was at, and they built a super Walmart. They paid something along the lines of $11.6 million to buy the land where the Walmart sits on. And I'm like, wow, that's $11.6 million. That's a lot of money for Conway. And like, it's funny. You're gonna see, it's funny after all said and done. At the time, we had 9 businesses that did something similar to Walmart. One of them actually being Kmart. And Kmart just recently, well, it went out of business and came back. So it's on the shelf. It's probably going to go out of business in the next 5 years because it's never open. But we had 3 family grocery stores. We had a Wilson's, we had a Wilson's, a Winn-Dixie, a Food Lion, which we still have the Food Lion, so let's not include that one. We had a Jones's, a Maxway. Basically, we had 9 businesses or so. We had 9 or 10 businesses that ended up going under because they did something along the lines of what Walmart did. A lot of these were like Family Dollars and stuff like that. Some were family owned, some were chain owned. But 9 businesses shut their doors when Walmart actually came through because Walmart would do what they did to Kmart. If you don't know if you remember, Kmart got undercut so badly by Walmart that it had to shut its doors and like file bankruptcy just to be able to keep having business, because Kmart had to file for bankruptcy because they were trying to match Walmart's pricings and they just couldn't do it, and they were just so far behind in debt. That's what happened. And like Wilson's, for example, Wilson's was a family owned. I don't know if there's a chain called Wilson's, but the one here was family owned, and it was a very clean store. It was a very well run store. It was a very used grocery store until Walmart came along. And the reason being is because Walmart undercut their prices. If Wilson's had a sale on steaks and steaks were like 16 or 17 bucks for a big old thick T-bone, Walmart would come out and sell them for $12. Who wouldn't go get the $12 T-bone? It's the same cut of meat, same thing you can get at Wilson's, but Walmart can sell it at a cost that's going to put them in the hole. If that steak costs Walmart 13 bucks and they sell it for 12, they'll lose that dollar to put Wilson's out of business. And once Wilson's out of business, they're going to knock that back up to 15 bucks, and they're going to make that dollar off that T-bone steak. That's how it works, and that's how it's always worked. And like, here's a strange factor: the Walmart in Conway has never earned $1 in its entire life. It's made profits, but every year I can even remember they've boasted about giving the entire profit away to charity. And Walmart does some of this stuff, and we just happen to have a store that's one of their charity stores. I don't know. This is just some of the thoughts on capitalism. What do you guys think about capitalism in itself? What do you don't like about it? I didn't even touch on the unemployment issue. I might do another commentary just for that.